Last week we talked about the Apple TV versus the Fire TV. This is kind of an odd comparison, a little bit lopsided in some ways, but today, Roku versus the Fire TV, the battle of the budget devices. This one should be pretty interesting, bit more of a fair fight. Let's dive in. Now before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if this video is helpful. So, today we're talking about Roku versus Fire TV, and right off the bat there's potential for confusion because there's a difference between the platform and the device. Let's use Roku to illustrate. Roku is a platform or an operating system, and it works across 7 different devices plus Roku TVs. You can think of it this way. Android is an operating system that looks and feels more or less the same regardless of whether you're using it on a Samsung or a Pixel or whatever. Same thing here. So we're going to start out in this video by comparing the platforms first, Roku versus Fire TV, and then we'll move on to the devices themselves a little bit later in the video. As for the apps you can get, don't worry too much here. Both systems run pretty much every app out there. Now for a long time, Fire TV has been missing YouTube and YouTube TV because of some disagreements between Amazon and Google, but they've patched those up and Google's apps will soon be on the Fire TV platform. So now the biggest holdout on Fire TV is probably Vudu, Walmart's streaming rental service. There are backdoor ways to get Vudu to work on a Fire TV device, but that's a topic for another video. The point here is that when it comes to apps, Amazon has pretty much everything, while Roku is actually closer to everything. If we're talking about the overall experience with each platform, then Roku takes the top spot for me. Whereas Fire TV kind of mixes your apps and shows and movies on your homepage, which can get kind of confusing, Roku puts the apps right up front, easy to see, and you can arrange them any which way you'd like. Honestly, there are some advantages to the Fire TV way of doing it, especially if you know that most of what you watch will be on Amazon Prime. But if you're like me and you use Prime Video and Netflix and Hulu and Tubi and PBS Kids and all the rest, then it's nice to have them all right here on the homepage. It makes it easier for my situation. Now, both homepages also offer ads, but Roku's ads are kind of pushed off to the side. They're a little easier to ignore, while the Fire TV's ads are integrated with the rest of the tiles, really cluttering things up. The search feature on Roku is also superior, and this is something that I'll shout from the rooftops until someone can come up with something better. When you search on the Fire TV, it can be a little confusing with multiple options coming up, and then when you click the title that you actually meant, you're only shown a single service to watch it on. Guess which one that usually is. Anyway, you can get more options if you click through, but that's an annoying additional step. Roku, on the other hand, is brand agnostic. So when you search for something, Police Academy, it'll show you a price-ordered list of where you can watch that show or movie. So, let's watch Police Academy 5. Now I can see all the places where I can rent that. These are all the same price, right? And I can even follow it to see if it comes up on another app in the future. So if you're brand agnostic like me, or like the Roku, you can see how nice this would be. It eventually saves you quite a bit of money. At this point, we can start talking about the devices themselves. Fire TV offers a trio of devices, all of which are great. The Fire Stick, the Fire Stick 4K, and the Fire TV Cube, which is basically the 4K stick with an Amazon Echo Dot mashed in there. Now the Cube is cool, especially if you want to use a lot of hands-free voice commands without using the thing on the remote. And the Roku doesn't have anything to match that right now. They've been talking about a Roku voice assistant that would rival Alexa and Siri and Google, but it's been 18 months and we haven't seen it yet, so I stopped holding my breath. What Roku does have is a larger suite of devices to fit different situations. There's the super cheap Roku Express, which only does 1080p, and there's even an Express Plus, which comes with composite video hookups in case you're still clutching your old tube TV in a death grip. And it goes on up through the line, through several 4K boxes and even some sticks, up to the Roku Ultra, which is one of my all-time favorite streaming devices. It is delightful. But I think the Fire TV might take the cake on the device front thanks to the fact that the Fire Stick 4K, which is my recommended Fire TV device, includes Dolby Vision HDR. If you don't know what that is, it's probably not a big deal that Roku doesn't support it. If you do, then you know that in terms of video quality, it's just... But lastly, let's talk about the remotes, which is what you're interacting with on a day-to-day basis, so it's going to be important. If the remote drives you crazy, it could very well ruin the rest of your streaming experience. Luckily, for the most part, both remotes function really well. Amazon gets some points for the visual design of their Alexa remote. It wouldn't be too hard to make a more attractive remote than Roku's, which, as much as I love Roku, is, frankly, ugly. Both Fire TV and Roku are capable of controlling your TV power and volume, although that is missing from the lowest tier Roku devices. The Fire TV remote also wins in an area that some people will care about and others just won't: gaming. The Alexa remote will let you play some great-looking basic games on the Fire TV. And if you snag a Bluetooth controller, the games on the Fire TV get even better. The Roku, meanwhile, technically has a game store, but it's full of the kind of thing you find on that little TV in front of you on a long flight. Sudoku and Tetris just don't really cut it. So, the Fire TV wins in a few discrete categories like Dolby Vision, hands-free voice control, and a slick remote. And if those things are the most important things to you, then you'll love your new Fire TV. But on the whole, I prefer the experience on the Roku platform, which has a simpler interface, better search features, and is more brand agnostic. But that's just what I think. I want to hear what you think as well. So hit those comments below, give this video a like if it was helpful, and if it was very helpful and enjoyable, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, because we're here every Wednesday and Friday with videos much like this. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.